Hi, this is Jaya. In this video, we shall see the summary of The Collector of Treasures by Bessie Head. The Collector of Treasures is an anthology of short fiction by South African Botswanian author Bessie Head. It contains 13 short stories and all the stories center in some way on Botswanian characters who encounter significant changes that shift the realities of their lives, their futures, and their fates. Much of Head's focus is on the oppression faced by women in Botswana and how their conscripted roles shape their identities both as individuals and as Africans. The first story, The Deep River, a story of ancient tribal migration, is a chronicle of the divide that separates a Taloti tribe after the death of their revered chief Mono Mape. During his life, Monenape made all the important decisions like when to plant, when to plow, when to harvest. But with him gone, the villagers fall into complacency, not knowing who to turn for guidance in the practical matters of day to day life. Sebimbele encourages the villagers to think for themselves and eventually, somewhat ironically, draws followers of his own. In the end, he leads his faction out of Deep River and into an unknown future. In the story Heaven is Not Closed, a devotedly Christian Botswanian woman, Galanthi Bege, passes away, and the narrator reflects on Galanthi Bege's life and her marriage to her husband, Raloke. Raloke was not a Christian and wanted to marry Galanthi Bege according to the old ways. When Galanthi Bege sought advice from the church missionaries, they refused to let her marry Raloke, and even though she placed God before anyone else in her life, the church kicked her out. She kept her faith, however, and never stopped praying. After her death, many leave the church because of the way the missionaries treated Galanthi, and Raloke never becomes a Christian despite his late wife's unshakable faith. The village saint follows a village holy woman, Ma Mompati, whose noble demeanor, good works, and respected position conceal a steely, cold, and often selfish nature. After she divorces her husband, Ma Mompati loses the power she so cherishes. Without a status in the village, she begins to realize that she only did her good works as a way to further a carefully crafted facade of virtue. In looking for a rain god, a tribal family makes a brutal sacrifice that illustrates the collusion between traditional cultural practices and more evolved modern day thinking. Mogdoba, his wife Tyro, and their children farm the land. When a drought strikes, Mogdoba calls the old indigenous ritual lost among subsequent centuries of Christian influence. This ritual involves the sacrificing of children as an offering to the gods in exchange for rain. Mokjoba and his son Ramadi sacrifice the family's two daughters, but it does not rain. When the villagers wonder what happened to their girls, Mokjoba and Tyro at first say they died of natural causes, but when police press the issue, Tyro confesses. Mokjoba and Ramadi go to jail and are ultimately executed, their blood joining the blood of the girls and the other long ago human sacrifices that saturate the land. The Collector of Treasures, the title of this book, is a scathing indictment of Botswanian men and the treatment of the women in their lives. The story revolves around the central character, Dickledy, and her relationship with her husband, Gary Sigo, who is a stark contrast to the marriage of their neighbors, Kenelepe and Paul. Garisigo impregnates Dickledy 4 times in the course of 3 years, but he does not live with his wife and children, and he offers them no support, financial or otherwise. In talking with Kenelepe, Dickledy discovers that not all men behave like Garisigo, that some men, like Paul for instance, are loving and devoted husbands who live with and support their wives and children. Inspired by this newfound knowledge, Dickledy asks Garisigo to help her pay for their older son's schooling. Without explicitly saying so, Gary Seago expects sex from Declady in return for his financial contribution. He goes to her house with the goal of having sex with her, and she fully realizes that only after she gives in will he then even consider giving her the money. No longer able to live with this untenable relationship, she gets a butcher knife and severs his special parts. As she is hauled off to jail, Paul vows to raise her children. Declady now faces a grand paradox. She will go to prison, but she will also be free for the first time in her life. The other stories are Jacob, the story of a faith healing priest, life, witchcraft, Kotla, the wind and a boy, snapshots of a wedding, the special one, and hunting. This is a short summary of all the short stories in this collection. If you have anything more to add on to what I've said, please write it in the comment box. Like the video, share it with your friends, and if you have not subscribed my channel, please subscribe and support. Thank you.